All right, everyone get ready because today we're going deep on something pretty mind-bending.
Yeah.
The 8 abodes of abandonment.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Now, before you think this is just for, like meditating monks up in the mountains somewhere,
Right.
trust me, this deep dive is going to reveal some pretty surprising insights that I think just about anyone can use.
For sure.
We've got excerpts from a text simply called The 8 Abodes of Abandonment,
Okay.
a really handy briefing document, and a study guide.
Nice.
And then to get to the root of it all,
Yeah.
we've got the original source material in Chinese.
That's right.
See?
Those characters translate directly to 8 abodes of abandonment.
Okay.
And these abodes are key to Buddhist meditation.
Right.
So what I think is really fascinating is how the principles can apply to pretty much anyone.
Yeah.
Looking for a little more peace of mind?
Yeah.
Monk robes optional.
I like that. Okay, so these abodes are all about letting go, right?
Yeah.
But it's not just chucking your stuff and moving to a mountaintop, is it?
Not quite. Think of it more like a journey,
Okay.
like a gradual process of peeling away layers
Okay.
of attachment
Uh-huh.
to reach like a deeper understanding of yourself
Right.
and the world.
Yeah.
Each abode is like a stage in that journey,
Right.
and they build on each other in a really interesting way.
Okay, I like where this is going. What's really grabbing my attention is that each abode has a specific, object of meditation.
Yes.
It's not just about emptying your mind, it's about actively engaging with
Yes.
some pretty intense concepts.
Exactly, and that's where the real depth comes in.
Okay.
Let's take the first abode, inner and outer contemplation of form, as like a prime example.
Okay.
It's about meditating on the impurity of the body,
Go.
both your own and the bodies of others.
Okay. I'm going to need you to unpack that one a bit.
Sure.
Focusing on impurity?
Yeah.
That doesn't exactly sound like a recipe for inner peace.
Right.
Isn't that a bit of depressing?
I can see why you'd say that, but it's not about dwelling on the negative.
Okay.
The text even talks about visualizing like flesh decaying, leaving only white bones behind.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty stark image.
Right.
But the point is to confront the impermanent nature of our physical forms head on.
I see. So instead of getting caught up in how we look or how others look,
Right.
this abode is about gaining a new perspective on the whole thing.
Yeah,
It's a bit like a mental reset button on our obsession with physical beauty.
you got it. And that shift in perspective leads right into the second abode.
Okay.
Inner formlessness, outer contemplation of form.
Okay.
You've dealt with your own body image. Now you're turning outward, recognizing that beauty in the external world is also fleeting.
So no more getting hung up on appearances,
Right.
whether it's our own or someone else's.
Yeah.
No more celebrity crushes.
Well, let's not get too extreme,
Okay.
but you're starting to grasp the idea.
Right.
It's about recognizing that everything changes.
Yeah.
And by understanding that we can free ourselves from a lot of unnecessary suffering
Right.
caused by clinging to appearances.
Makes sense. So we've gone from confronting the yucky
Yeah.
to recognizing that even beauty fades.
Right.
Where does abode 3 take us on this journey?
Abode 3, the abode of purity, shifts the focus dramatically.
Okay.
Now it's about actively cultivating pure mental states.
Okay.
The text uses a beautiful analogy, comparing it to filling your mind with vibrant colors,
Uh-huh.
like decorating a beautiful room.
Interesting. So instead of focusing on what's outside,
Yeah.
we're turning inward and creating beauty within our own minds.
Exactly.
It's like those visualization exercises people use, but dialed up to 11.
Exactly. It's a deeper level of mental training.
Right.
You're not just imagining things. You're cultivating specific qualities of mind,
Okay.
qualities like clarity, compassion, and joy.
Yeah.
And the more you cultivate them, the more they become a part of who you are.
Okay, I'm ready for the next step.
All right.
Where does this journey inward take us next?
Abode 4 really opens things up literally.
Okay.
It's called the abode of infinite space.
Okay.
And it challenges us to go beyond the limits we normally perceive.
Hold on. How do you even wrap your mind around meditating on something that's infinite?
It's a profound shift in perspective.
Okay.
The original Chinese text puts it beautifully, 释能,
Wow.
which essentially means that when we let go of our attachment to form,
Right.
form itself ceases to bind us.
Okay.
Our mind then focuses on emptiness, merging with it.
Wow. So you're not just picturing a vast empty space, you're experiencing a merging with emptiness.
Yes. And it's about recognizing that the limitations we often feel might be more mental than physical.
Right.
Think about how often you feel trapped by your circumstances.
Yeah.
This abode suggests that maybe those boundaries aren't as solid as we think they are.
Whoa. That's a powerful concept.
It is.
I need a moment to process that one.
It's definitely a big jump,
Yeah.
but it leads us to an even bigger one, abode 5,
that?
abode of infinite consciousness.
Okay.
Now we're tackling the nature of consciousness itself.
We went from bodies to space and now to the very nature of our being.
That's right.
This is really blowing my mind.
It's a lot to take in.
It's like each abode is expanding our understanding of reality in a completely new way.
That's the beauty of this journey.
Yeah.
We're peeling back layers, revealing deeper and deeper truths.
Right.
And it only gets more profound from here.
Bring it on. I'm ready to see where this path leads.
Let's do it.
All right, I'm ready to keep exploring, but from what I've heard, abodes 6 and 7 get into some seriously heady territory.
Yeah.
Even seasoned meditators struggle with these.
Yeah, that's true.
Luckily, our study guide has some pretty clear explanations to help us navigate these next few steps.
Right.
Perfect. Let's dive in. What exactly are we getting into with abode 6?
So abode 6 is called the abode of nothingness. And before you think it's all doom and gloom,
Right.
it's not about nihilism. It's about transcending even the concept of consciousness, going beyond the limits of how we typically define reality.
Okay. Now that's a challenge if we're not focusing on form, space, or consciousness. What's left?
Right.
What are we even meditating on at this point?
That's the brilliant part. You're letting go of those frameworks.
Yeah.
Those ways we normally define reality.
Yeah.
Imagine stepping outside the box, except there is no box to begin with.
Whoa.
It's about experiencing a state of pure being,
Okay.
untethered to any specific object or concept.
Wow. That sounds incredibly freeing, but also kind of terrifying.
Right.
If we let go of all those things, what's left of me,
Yeah.
it's like dissolving the very idea of self.
That's the core of this journey.
Yeah.
Realizing that our sense of self is also impermanent. Just another layer to peel back.
Right.
Our thoughts, perceptions, even our sense of identity, they're all in constant flux.
Right.
Abode 6 invites us to experience what remains when we release our grip on those fleeting constructs.
So if abode 6 is about dissolving the self, what does abode 7 build on it? Sounds impossible to go any further.
Abode 7 takes us even deeper.
Okay.
It's called the abode of neither perception nor non-perception.
Okay, I thought abode 6 was mind-bending,
Right.
but what does transcending duality actually look like? That sounds incredibly abstract.
Think about how our minds usually work.
Okay.
We categorize things,
Right.
we label them.
Yeah.
We see things as either this or are, that good or bad light or dark self or other.
Right.
Abode 7 challenges us to move beyond those limitations,
Mm-hmm.
to experience a reality that is not bound by dualistic thinking.
Can you give an example of what that might look like in our everyday lives?
Absolutely. Imagine you're stuck in traffic.
Okay. Yeah.
Your usual reaction might be frustration, anger,
Mm.
maybe even judging the other drivers.
Happens all the time.
Transcendent duality in this situation wouldn't mean forcing yourself to feel happy about the traffic jam.
Okay.
Instead, it's about observing the experience without labeling it as good or bad.
Okay.
It's about recognizing the situation simply as is without getting caught up in the mental drama we usually create around it.
So it's not about suppressing our emotions. It's about seeing them in a different light.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that our reactions are just thoughts and we don't have to be ruled by them.
Precisely. It's about cultivating a sense of spaciousness within our own minds,
Yeah.
a space where we can observe our thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them.
Right.
And from that space, we can choose how we want to respond to whatever life throws our way.
Wow. That's incredibly powerful. After all that mind-bending exploration, where does this journey culminate? What's the final destination?
Abode 8 brings us to a place of profound stillness and peace.
Okay.
It's called the abode of cessation of perception and feeling.
Right.
It's described as a state where even the subtlest mental chatter fades away.
Wow.
In the text, it says, the practitioner, weary of mental scattering desires to enter into meditative rest, thus abandoning the perceptions and feelings of the mind.
That sounds incredibly peaceful, but is it even possible to completely silence the mind? I feel like my thoughts are always buzzing around like a swarm of bees.
It's definitely a challenge, but the point is not necessarily to achieve complete silence all the time.
Right.
It's about recognizing that even in the midst of all that mental chatter,
Mm-hmm.
there's a deeper stillness within us, a stillness that's always present, always available, if we know how to tap into it.
So it's like finding an oasis of calm in the middle of a mental storm. I'm starting to see how this journey through the 8 abodes isn't just about intellectual understanding.
Right.
It's about experiencing these states of being, even if it's just for a moment.
Exactly. And each abode provides us with tools and practices that help us cultivate these states.
Yeah, right.
It's a gradual process of training the mind, just like you train your body for a marathon.
Okay, I have to admit this all sounds incredibly appealing, but I'm still wondering, how does it apply to someone like me who isn't planning on becoming a monk?
That's the amazing part. These principles are surprisingly practical, even in our everyday lives. Think about it. How often do you get caught up in worries, anxieties, or desires?
Pretty much all the time. It's like my default setting.
The 8 abodes offer a path to freedom from that constant mental churn.
Okay.
They provide a framework for understanding how we cling to things.
Yeah.
Ideas, emotions, possessions.
Right.
And how that clinging creates suffering. And even more importantly, they offer a way to let go.
So it's not about physically abandoning everything. It's about shifting our internal relationship to those things.
Yes.
It's about recognizing that our happiness doesn't depend on clinging to them.
Precisely. Imagine being able to navigate life's ups and downs with more ease, more resilience.
Yeah.
Imagine being less reactive, less controlled by your emotions.
Right.
The 8 abodes offer a path towards that kind of freedom.
Wow. I can see how even understanding these concepts can be a game changer. It's like we've been given a new lens through which to view our experiences, our attachments, and ultimately ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've journeyed through these 8 abodes from contemplating the impermanence of our physical forms to, exploring the vastness of infinite space and consciousness, and then even beyond to those realms of nothingness and non-duality.
It's a long journey.
It's been quite a ride.
It has, and we've only just scratched the surface, really.
Oh, right.
I mean, these abodes are profound.
Yeah.
They offer a lifetime of exploration and practice, really.
Absolutely. But even with this brief glimpse,
Yeah.
I think we've uncovered some incredibly valuable insights.
For sure.
These abodes aren't just abstract concepts. They're practical tools for navigating the challenges of everyday life.
Exactly. The key takeaway here, I think, is that the 8 abodes offer a path towards greater peace and freedom.
Yeah.
They show us how our attachments, whether to material possessions or ideas or even our own identities, can create suffering.
Right.
And they offer a way to kind of loosen our grip on those attachments to find a sense of liberation from that constant churn of our minds.
Yeah, I think what's striking me the most is how relevant this all feels, even in our modern, fast-paced world.
Right.
We're all dealing with stress, anxiety, a sense of overwhelm.
Yeah, for sure.
These abodes feel like a roadmap to cultivating a sense of inner peace amidst the chaos.
That's a great way to put it. Think about it. How often do you feel like you're at the mercy of your emotions, reacting to everything that happens around you?
Oh, pretty much all the time. It's like my default mode.
These abodes offer a way to step out of that reactive cycle.
Okay.
To create a space between stimulus and response.
Yeah.
They teach us to observe our thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them. To choose how we want to respond, rather than simply reacting.
That's so powerful. It's like taking back control of our own inner experience.
Exactly. And the beauty is you don't have to become a monk or meditate for hours on end to benefit from these teachings.
Right.
Even incorporating small elements of this philosophy into your life can have a profound impact.
So for someone listening right now who's intrigued by all this, where would you suggest they start?
A great place to begin is with simple mindfulness practices. Taking a few minutes each day to simply observe your breath, to notice the sensations in your body, to become aware of your thoughts without judgment.
Right.
It's a way to start cultivating that inner spaciousness we talked about.
Yeah.
That space where you can observe your inner world without getting caught up in it.
That's a great starting point, and it reminds me of something we touched on earlier, the idea that these abodes aren't separate, isolated practices. They build on each other, guiding us deeper and deeper into our own experience.
Exactly. Mindfulness practices can lay the foundation for exploring the more profound concepts we discussed, like letting go of attachments, transcending duality, and cultivating those pure mental states. It's a journey of self-discovery, and it's available to everyone.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface, but
we have.
Even this glimpse into the 8 abodes has been incredibly, eye-opening for me.
I agree. It's a reminder that true peace and freedom aren't found in those external circumstances.
Right.
But within our own minds.
And on that note, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought. Imagine taking just one small step today.
Okay.
Towards incorporating these teachings into your life. Maybe it's starting a mindfulness practice or simply noticing one attachment. You could loosen your grip on what would it feel like to approach your day with a little more spaciousness, a little more freedom from the usual mental chatter. What possibilities might open up.
It's an invitation to explore, to experiment, to see what happens when you bring these ancient wisdom teachings into your modern life.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the 8 abodes of abandonment. We hope you'll continue exploring these concepts and discover the transformative power they hold. Until next time, keep diving deep.